Hare Krishna. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
May I try, Prabhu?
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Tayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swa Vadantigam. Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Utapata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadrutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Tubba Sindhubhaya Ivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. Sorry I was a little late today. So today we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 17, as well as little initial part of Chapter 18. So next class on 26th of May, we will finish Chapter 18 and Chapter 19, as well as this unit number 11. So following week, 2nd of June, we can have the revision of this unit number 11 by you all doing your respective presentations. Shalini will send you the link for the Google document to populate your name for the respective presentations, if she has not already sent it. Everybody okay with 2nd June to do the presentations?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So let's begin with you all explaining one or more points and or asking one or more questions.
May I start with this, please?
Go ahead, Prabhu.
There says the question about the homework significance at the gate of Vaikuntha, about the Kumara brothers episode with Jaya and Jaya. There, the sages were not actually within the Vaikuntha. This is what we found out. But within the Vaikuntha Loka, everybody was totally purified and part and partial of the Lord, and they merged. And it has not happened, it has happened outside. That means, the total purification is not up to the satisfaction of the Lord. But whereas at the gate outside, and they return to material world because of the punishment. The goal of life is to understand Vishnu, but still, in spite of it, Jaya and Vijaya fell from above that even the demigods were disappointed and they were bewildered. Because of the mercy of the Lord, all yogis even achieve perfection. And whereas the Lord is telling that at the mercy of Brahmana, because that was really surprising the Kumaras. And they, as already been read, the helpless should be God. The guardian should protect the helpless. The Brahmanas, they're helpless and they are most respectable. Even the curse of the Brahmana is more dangerous, that everybody knows. The Lord was glorifying Brahmanas then. Kumaras were ready to accept punishment. Kumaras realized the mistake to curse the gatekeeper Jaya and Vijaya. They respect Brahmanas who respect Brahmana. The Lord is more pleased to us who respect the Brahmanas. There we found out the Lord's leadership. It's a lesson, austerity, mercy, which are taught to us in this Leela by the Lord. That's why my simple understanding.
Okay, lot of good points there. So all those in Vaikunta, meaning Jai Vijay here specifically, they came to the material world not because that they were not purified, but they came to the material world because of Lord's Leela. Otherwise, there is no chance of falling once you are in Vaikunta. Okay, very good. A lot of good points.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when we do offenses, we lose our spiritual taste. Bhakti Vinoda Thakura says that obstacles increase the intensity of one's bhakti.
Okay, very good. Do not do offenses. Very good. Rest of you.
Prabhuji, what I understood that they both have did devotee abhachan to each other by not allowing the.
Okay. Yeah, it was still Lord's plan, but all right. Any questions? Okay. So we'll continue from Canto 3, Chapter 17 onwards, and I'll lay the context and a recap where we are. So demigod asked Brahmaji about the reason of the bad omens that they were seeing, and Brahmaji described from the start that how Kumaras went to Vaikunta and Kumaras cursed Jai Vijay. By Jai Vijay asking forgiveness from Kumaras, the Kumaras realized their mistake, that they have offended devotees. Lord came to the door to reconcile the situation. Lord asked for forgiveness from Kumaras to maintain distance from Kumaras. Kumaras could not understand whether Lord is happy or angry with them. Kumaras repented and said to the Lord that they, the Kumaras, will accept whatever punishment or reward you, O Lord, ordain on these innocent devotees or upon us. You can cancel the curse and we will be okay also. Simultaneously, by chastising Jai Vijay, Lord is showing his intimate relations with Jai Vijay. And Lord said that the curse is appropriate and is ordained by me. Then Kumaras glorified the Lord, offered obeisances, and went back from the door of Vaikunta. Brahmaji concluded narrating this pastime by stating that Lord alone will come to rescue and the Lord will come when the Lord desires to come. We don't have any control on that. In chapters 17 to 19, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, the twin brothers, they will take birth, which are Jai Vijay, and Hiranyaksha will have a fight with Nila Varahadev. So in these three chapters, chapters 17, 18, 19, there are almost 100 verses. And many of the verses are pretty straightforward. There isn't much discussion in these three chapters because it's just describing here's how the fight went on. So I will give you chapter divisions for all three chapters, chapters 17, 18, and 19. I'll give them to you together because they are kind of linked chapters. So chapter 17 is titled Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha. Is divided into 4 parts. Part 1, verses 1 to 15. Inauspicious omens after the birth of twin brothers. Part 2, verses 16 to 19. The brothers grow up. Part 3, verses 20 to 26. Hiranyaksha conquers all directions. Part 4, verses 27 to 31. Conversations between Varuna and Hiranyaksha. Everybody got the chapter 17 parts?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I will also give you chapter 18 and 19 parts. Chapter 18 is titled The Battle Between Lord Boar and Demon Hiranyaksha. Is divided into 4 parts. Part 1, verses 1 to 8. The demon criticizes Lord Varaha. Part 2, verses 9 to 12. The Lord's fitting reply to Hiranyaksha. Part 3, verses 13 to 20. Fight between Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha. Part 4, verses 20 to 28. Brahmaji requests Lord Varaha to kill Hiranyaksha. Everybody got chapter 18 parts?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, we got it.
Yes,
We were interrupted by the disconnect of internet and power. We came
Right.
back.
Yeah, that's okay. You can listen to the recording. I will send you after the class and get caught up.
Thank you.
So chapter 19 is titled The Killing of Demon Hiranyaksha. Is divided into 4 parts. Part 1, verses 1 to 29. Fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev. Part 2, verses 27 to 32. Brahmaji and others praised Hiranyaksha. Part 3, verses 33 to 36. Glories of Lord's activities. Part 4, verses 37 to 38. Falastuti. So benediction is described towards the end of these 3 chapters, that whosoever hears these 3 chapters. Everybody got the parts for all 3 chapters? And you can visualize they are kind of linked, going on. The same topic is in the 3 chapters. Everybody?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So in chapter 17, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they conquer every place. And Hiranyaksha challenges Varuna. So Varuna is not ordinary personality. Varuna is a great personality. And Varuna also knows the future and tells Hiranyaksha that soon you will be dead. And Hiranyaksha is asking to fight with Varuna, and Varuna says in humility, "Oh, I am old, I am not capable to fight with you. Lord Narayan is the best person for you to fight with." So from Narad Muni, Hiranyakashipu comes to know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is at the bottom of the ocean, and Hiranyakashipu travels to the bottom of the ocean where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to fight. The twin brothers, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, take birth, and many bad omens, natural disasters happen after their birth. So if you recall the previous chapters, there were already bad omens visible even when these twin brothers were in Diti's womb. So all these bad omens that we'll soon read in the first 15 verses, they are very much similar to Canto 1, when Krishna left the planet and Yudhishthir Maharaj saw bad omens. So Prabhupada explains that when demons increase, bad omens increase. And Prabhupada says that because of demons, there is very less brightness of the sun. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains about twin brothers. Now, question for all of you. I've done a lot of talking so far. So when twin brothers take birth, who is the elder? Who is the younger one?
The elder is Kiranyakasipu. He was born earlier. And the younger one is Kiranyaksha.
So I'm not asking about these two, but it's okay. So I'm asking in general. So there are twins born. Who is elder? Who is junior?
Prabhuji, who comes a minute before the younger one is elder?
Who comes before?
Minute before.
Is the younger one?
Is the elder one?
Okay, all right. Shivangi?
I think in the chapter it was said the one who was conceived first, Prabhuji.
Okay. Rest of you? Who's younger? So how the Pancha Prabhu described that generally there's a minute or so difference between when the twins take birth. So who's elder, who's younger?
The first one whose cirrus comes out to breathe the air is the elder.
Okay. So Srimad Bhagavatam clarifies what Shivangi rightly described, and thank you for reading ahead of time. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes, which is also there in the purport, that the child which is conceived first comes out later. So in the mother's womb, the child that is conceived first is at the back. And the child that is conceived second is in the front. And the child that is in the front comes out first. So in the material world, everybody calls the first child that comes out as the elder brother. But from the father's perspective, the first conceived child who's at the back in the womb, who comes out as the second child, is actually the elder, the elder child. Everybody with me?
We were not aware. It's a realization.
Very good. So the first 15 verses are on the inauspicious omens. So part 1 is verses 1 to 15. The title is Inauspicious Omens After the Birth of the Twin Brothers. So all of you, when you read today, we'll read all the verses and the purports. There are very few purports and they are shorter. So read at a faster pace so that we can cover majority of what we have to cover today.
So this event took place as per Kashyap Muni predicted not to conceive to Diti, correct?
Yeah, you are correct. Okay, let's start. Shivangi, verses 1 to 3 translations and purports. Everybody read at a faster pace.
Hare Krishna. Sri Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of the darkness explained by Brahma, who is born from Vishnu. Thus they all returned to their respective planets. Purport. The demigods who are denizens of higher planets are also very much afraid of incidents such as the universe is becoming dark, so they consulted Brahma. This indicates that the quality of fear exists for every living entity in the material world. The 4 principal activities of material existence are eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. The fear element exists also in the demigods. On every planet, even in the higher planetary systems, including the moon and the sun, as well as on the earth, the same principles of animal life exist. Otherwise, why are the demigods also afraid of the darkness? The difference between the demigods and ordinary human beings is that the demigods approach authority, whereas the inhabitants of this earth defy authority. If people would only approach the authority, then every adverse condition in this universe could be rectified. Arjuna was also disturbed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but he approached the authority, Krishna, and his problem was solved. The conclusive instruction of this incident is that we may be disturbed by some material condition, but if we approach the authority who can actually explain the matter, then our problem is resolved. The demigods approached Brahma for the meaning of the disturbance, and after hearing from him, they were satisfied and returned home peacefully. The virtuous lady Diti had been very apprehensive of trouble to the gods from the children in her womb, and her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of pregnancy. On the birth of the two demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful, in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So Srila Prabhupada explains the difference between demigods and demons we just read. That only devotees approach authority. When we face problems in life, in the material world, we should approach an authority, or spiritual master is the best authority. So when you approach a spiritual master, this is an important symptom of devotee. Whereas demons, they don't want to accept any authority. Demons' permanent goal is sense gratification. Whenever demons face problems, they think they want to eternally enjoy. And devotees think the other way, that I am Nitya Krishna Das. Demons don't want to depend on God at all. In in Canto 1, Chapter 7, when Ashwatthama released Brahmastra, immediately in a very well-known verse, 1.7.22, Arjuna offered prayers to Krishna, inquires with Krishna, circumambulates Krishna, then does Achman, and then releases Brahmastra. Although Arjuna is himself capable to release the Brahmastra, but Arjuna is showing the humility and the important symptom of devotee of the dependence on the Lord. So we also read that because of two reasons, Diti gave birth to the twins after 100 years. The first reason was that there would be a lot of problems on the universe. So she wants to delay the problems. Plus, the second reason is that they will anyway be killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody with me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Kalyani, verses 4 to 7 translation purports.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Kalyani isn't there. I would request Dhruv to read.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Very good.
Hare Krishna. There were earthquakes along the mountains on the earth, and it appeared that there was fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared, along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. When natural disturbances occur on a planet, one should understand that a demon must have taken birth there. In the present age, the number of demonic people is increasing. Therefore, natural disturbances are also increasing. There is no doubt about this, as we understand from the statements of the Bhagavatam.
Just scroll. Number 5.
There blew winds which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again, and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns. When there are natural disturbances like blowing cyclones, too much heat or snowfall, and uprooting of trees by hurricanes, it is to be understood that the demonic population is increasing, and so is the natural disturbance is also taking place. There are many countries on the globe, even at the present moment, where all these disturbances are current. This is true all over the world. There is insufficient sunshine, and there are always clouds in the sky, snowfall, and severe cold. These assure that such places are inhabited by demonic people who are accustomed to all kinds of forbidden, sinful activities. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere and nothing could be seen.
7.
Hare Krishna. 7 also. 7.
The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The river and lakes were also agitated, and the lotuses withered.
Okay, very good. I request Dhruv Prabhu to come every day, on every week and read for us. Thank you for reading today. Okay, so just all these verses are describing the bad omens, and up to 15 this will continue. Mother Jija, verses 8 to 11 translations only.
Eight to 11 translation. Many halos appeared around the sun and the moon during the solar and lunar eclipse again and again. Claps of thunder were heard, even with clouds, and sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves. Text 9. In the interior of the villages, she-jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries. Text 10. Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing. Text 11. O Vidura, the asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hooves and wildly brayed. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Dipanshu Prabhu, 12 to 15 translations.
Hare Krishna. Frightened by the braying of asses, birds flew shrieking from their nest, while cattle in the cowsheds as well as in the woods passed dung and urine. Text 13. Cows terrified yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds rained pus, the images of the gods in the temple shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind. Text 14. Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as a number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another. Text 15. Marking these and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sons of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jaya and Vijay and of their birth as Diti's sons, was seized with fear. They did not know the secrets of these portents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand.
Okay, so these are all the bad omens that were visible, and everybody was afraid except the four Kumaras, because the four Kumaras knew these are Jai Vijay, and it is because of their curse that all this is happening. Everybody with me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so part 2 is verses 16 to 19. Title is The Brothers Grow Up. Let's see. Sridhar Prabhu, verses 16 to 19, translations and purports at a faster pace, please.
Can someone read? I would just be parking my car and I will read it afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. Uncle, 16 to 19, translations and purports.
Hare Krishna. These two demons who appeared ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. There are two classes of men in the world. One is called the demon, the other is called the demigod. The demigods concern themselves with the spiritual upliftment of human society, whereas their demons are concerned with the physical and material upliftment. The two demons born of Diti began to make their bodies as strong as iron frames, and they were so tall that they seemed to touch outer space. They were decorated with valuable ornaments, and they thought this was the success in life. Originally, it was planned that Jaya, the two doorkeepers of Vaikunta, were to take birth in the material world, whereby the curse of the sages they were to play the part of always being angry with Supreme Personality of Godhead. As demonic persons, they became so angry that they were not concerned with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but simply with physical comforts and physical upliftment. Chapter 17, translation. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crests of their gold crowns. They blocked the views of all directions, and while walking, shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Purport. The demonic way of civilization, people are interested in getting body constructed in such a way that when they walk on the street, the earth will tremble, and when they stand, it will appear that they cover the sun and the vision of the four directions. If a race appears strong in body, their country is materially considered to be among the highly advanced nations of the world. Text 18. Translation. Prajapati Kashyapa, the creator of living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first, he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who first conceived by Diti, be named Hiranyakashipu. Purport. There is an authoritative Vedic literature called Pinda Siddhi, in which the scientific and understanding of pregnancy is very nicely described. It is stated that when the male's secretion enters the menstrual flux in the uterus in two successive drops, the mother develops two embryos in her womb, and she brings forth twins in a reverse order, so that in which they were first conceived. The child conceived first is born later, and the one conceived later is brought forth first. The first child conceived in the womb lives behind the second child. So when birth takes place, the second child appears first, and the first child appears second. In this case, it is understood that Hiranyaksha, the second child conceived, was delivered first, whereas Hiranyakashipu, the child which was behind, having been conceived first, was born second. Text 19, translation. The elder child, Hiranyakashipu, was unafraid of death from anyone within the 3 worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all the 3 planetary systems under his control. Purport. As will be revealed in later chapters, Hiranyakashipu underwent severe austerity and penance to satisfy Brahma, and thus he received a benediction of immortality. Actually, it is impossible even for Lord Brahma to give anyone the benediction of becoming immortal, but indirectly, Hiranyakashipu received the benediction that no one within this material world would be able to kill him. In other words, because he originally came from the abode of Vaikunta, He was not to be killed by anyone with this material within this material world. The Lord desired to appear himself to kill him. One may be very proud of his material advancement in knowledge, but he cannot be immune to the four principles of material existence, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. It was the Lord's plan to teach people that even Hiranyakashipu, who was so powerful and strongly built, could not live more than his destined duration of life. One may become as strong and puffed up as Hiranyakashipu, but and bring under his control all the three worlds, but there is no possibility of continuing life eternally or keeping the conquered booty forever. So many emperors have attended to power and they are now lost in oblivion. That is the history of the world. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. So demons are bothered about physical and material upliftment. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a wonderful commentary that in spite of the curse by Kumaras, Jai Vijay taking birth as superficial demons. Jai Vijay did so many sinful activities. There was no tinge of any pious deeds. Still, Jai Vijay did not go to hell. Jai Vijay enjoyed very nicely. Therefore, it is this word superficial demons. Now, we know Hiranyakashipu did penance and therefore he got the benediction. But we have not heard about Hiranyaksha's penance, not penance. But from the purports, we can understand that both Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha got benedictions from Brahmaji. Hence, both Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha did penance. And Srila Prabhupada explains that even though they are so powerful, still they are not able to live beyond the allotted time. If Krishna wants to protect, then no one can kill that devotee. And if Krishna wants to kill, then no one can protect that person. And we read that child that is conceived first is at the back of the womb, comes out as the second child, and the child that is conceived second comes out first. But in the material world, everybody thinks the first child that comes out is the elder. But in reality, it's the child that is conceived first is the elder. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations?
Yes.
Prabhuji, Jai Vijay were superficial demons.
Yeah.
Means they knew that they have to play a role, or
Yeah, they knew for sure.
I see. Thank you.
So of course, do understand that Yog Maya will conceal few things. Otherwise, they won't be able to fight with the Lord. So the Yog Maya will conceal that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same way it applies that Mother Yashoda could chastise Krishna because Yog Maya concealed that this child is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for the rasa to happen properly, Yog Maya will conceal the supremacy of the Lord. Okay. So part 3 is verses 20 to 26. Title is Hiranyaksha conquers all directions. These verses and purports are pretty straightforward. Mother Chandra Aunty, verses 20 to 26, translations only.
Text 20. His younger brother, Hiranyaksha, was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksha took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with the fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakashipu. Text 21. Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He was ankled of gold dinklings about his feet. He is absorbed with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. Text 22. His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boom conferred upon him, had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods, therefore, were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid themselves even as snakes hide themselves for fear of Garuda. Text 23. No one finding Indra and other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly. Text 24. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant on breath, was the sake of sports, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. Text 25. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who framed the host of Varuna were stricken with the fear and ran far away. Thus, Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Text 26. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed, waved again and again with his iron mace, and reached Vibharavi, the capital of Varuna.
Okay.
Text.
So pretty straightforward verses that Hiranyaksha conquers all directions and goes at the bottom of the ocean to meet Varuna. So this is where part 4, verses 27 to 31 starts, about the conversations between Varuna and Hiranyaksha. Chandran Prabhu, verses 27 to 31, translations and purports.
Hare Krishna. Text 27. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with a smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord." Text 28. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and the ruler of wide fate. Having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. Text 29. Thus mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the waters waxed angry, but by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him. And he replied, "O dear one, who have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat. Text 30. You are so killed in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Suras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise. Text 31. Varuna continued, on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded by dogs, for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellow like you and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. Hare Krishna.
So even though Lord comes in human form on earth, people do not have faith. Then what to speak when Lord comes in animal form? So Lord appears as Varahadev, which is a boar form, or he comes as a fish or a tortoise. So atheists have a hard time to accept such animal forms of the Lord as the Lord, but devotees have no problem. Atheistic people don't recognize the Lord even when Lord came as Krishna or Rama. Then what to speak when Lord comes in animal forms? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained that Hiranyaksha asked, you are saying that Vishnu is the best. So where can I find him? Varuna says, you will meet Vishnu in 5 days. Varuna says, you could not sleep because you want to find Vishnu, but soon you will sleep for a very long time by being killed by Vishnu. So Hiranyaksha responds that, are you trying to scare me? And then Hiranyaksha says, please tell me where is this Vishnu? Where can I find him? And Hiranyaksha is challenging Varuna. So Varuna says, Lord can take so many forms, such as boar, fish, tortoise. So I don't know which form the Lord will come to kill you, but he will come soon to satisfy your fighting desire. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Victory of Hiranyaksha over all directions of the universe. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, I realized that Varna also knew the whole drama. Otherwise, how he would say that only Lord can kill? Or due to humility or his incapability? Could you please elaborate?
So understand that demigods went to Brahmaji by seeing all these bad omens, and Varuna is one of the demigods. So he knows this story that Brahmaji has narrated. Uncle,
Thank you.
Shivangi?
Prabhuji, just a question. So Hiranyaksha comes to know that the Lord is at the bottom of the ocean from Varuna or from Narad Muni?
From Narad Muni.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody on the same page? Okay. So we will now discuss chapter 18, and also is a pretty straightforward chapter. In chapter 18, we will soon read Shivangi's earlier question about how the earth could float on water. So we had discussed before, and it will come up directly in the purport, verse and the purport that we'll read shortly. So chapter 18 is titled The Battle Between Lord Boar and Demon Hiranyaksha. Part 1 is verses 1 to 8. Title is The Demon Criticizes Lord Varaha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Sridhar Swami, a prominent Acharya, has explained that all these criticisms of the Lord by the demon are actually indirect glorifications of the Lord. So we will read the first 8 verses. That's what we'll cover today. And we'll read and understand all this. Seems like criticism, but how it ends up actually glorification of the Lord. Okay, let's see. Sridhar Prabhu, are you able to now read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, chapter 18, verses 1 and 2, translations and purports.
Maitreya continued, the proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. Oh dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean. Purport. Materialistic warmongers are not even afraid to fight with their mightiest enemy, the personality of Godhead. The demon was very encouraged to learn from Varuna that there was one fighter who would actually combat him, and he was very enthusiastic to search out the Supreme Personality of God just to give him a fight, even though it was predicted by Varuna that by fighting with Vishnu, he would become prey for dogs, jackals, and vultures. Since demoniac persons are less intelligent, they dare to fight with Vishnu, who is known as Ajita, or one who has never been conquered. Text 2, translation. He saw that there the all-powerful personality of God in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upward on the ends of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon laughed, "Oh, an amphibious beast?" Purport. In the previous chapter, we have discussed the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Varaha, the boar. While Varaha, with his tusks, engaged in uplifting the submerged earth from the depths of the waters, this great demon Hiranyaksha met him and challenged him, calling him a beast. Demons cannot understand the incarnations of the Lord. They think that his incarnations as a fish or a boar or tortoise are big beasts only. They misunderstand the body of the Supreme Personality of God even in his human form, and they deride his descent. In the Chaitanya Sampradaya, there is sometimes a demoniac misconception about the descent of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu's body is spiritual, but demoniac persons consider the body of Supreme Personality to be material, just like ours. Avajananti Maam Mura. Persons who have no intelligence deride the transcendental form of the Lord as material. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Shivangi.
Prabhuji, in the previous chapter, when it said Hiranyaksha dived into the ocean, did they mean the ocean on Earth or this ocean, the ocean of the universe?
Ocean on Earth. So they have already taken birth on Earth.
So wouldn't he have known that so the Earth at this point is already fallen to the bottom of the universe? Like, wouldn't he have felt that the Lord was already there lifting the earth because he's on the earth?
Yeah, so you are correct. So they have taken they have taken birth somewhere in the universe, not on Earth, because Earth is submerged, and the Lord is at the bottom of the causal ocean. So I will clarify it here that it is not the Earth's ocean, but it's the causal ocean where within the universe where the Lord is, and that's where Hiranyaksha dived.
Okay, so when they were talking in the previous chapter about how they blocked the sun and how everything was shaking when they were walking, that they're just talking about how they were traveling over the universe in other planets and
Yeah, so somewhere it doesn't actually say where exactly they appeared, but they appeared somewhere in the universe, and you are correct that at this point, Earth is still submerged in water, and the next upcoming verses, the Lord is holding the earth in his tusk. So yes, you are
okay.
correct that Earth is not there. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha have appeared somewhere in the universe, just not on Earth. And the discussion about Earth is also coming up in the next couple of verses. So Hiranyakashipu dived in the causal ocean where the Lord is.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So the criticism words, there are two words here. One is Vana Gochara. So if you read the word for word translation for verse number 2, the last two words, Vana Gochara and Mriga. So Vana Gochara in the word for word translation, it says amphibious beast, meaning resident of water or resident of forest. And the indirect glorification that Sridhar Swami has explained is one who rests on water, which is Narayan. And then Mriga is trying to criticize that you are an animal, and the indirect glorification is that sought by the sages, because the devotees and the sages understand that even when the Lord comes in animal form, he is still the Lord, and sages and devotees are seeking for this Lord. Everybody with me? Silence.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Dipanshu Prabhu, verse 3 and 4, translations and purports.
The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Prabhuji, purport as well?
Yeah.
Sridhara Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of a boar, actually he worshipped him in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagochara, which means one who is resident of the forest, but another meaning of Vanagochara is one who lies on the water. Vishnu lies on the water, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be properly addressed in this way. The demon also addressed him as Mriga, indicating unintentionally that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly person, and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as Ajna. Sridhar Swami says that Gyan, Prabhuji, is it Gyan?
Yeah, Jnana.
Jnana means knowledge, and there is no knowledge which is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, the demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as Suradma. Sura means the demigods, and Adma means Lord of all there is. He is Lord of all the demigods, and therefore he is the best of all demigods or God. When the demon used the phrase "in my presence," the implied meaning was, in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. Na swasti yashasi. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. The text 4. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic, so today I shall and live in my kinsmen by killing you. Purport. The demon used the word abhavya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberating, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keeps himself invisible. The activities of the Lord's internal potency are inconceivable, but by a slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord by his grace can deliver one from these sins. Sucha means miseries. The miseries of material existence can be extinguished by the Lord by his internal potency, Yogmaya. In Upanishads, it is stated, Parasya Saktir Vivideva Shruyate. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord. You have done tremendous harm to our community, taking the part of the demigods, and you have killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden. Now I see you face to face, and I am not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powered, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. Demons like Kansa, Raman, and Hiranyakashipu thought themselves powerful enough to kill even God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multifarious potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in his eternal abode, goal of Vrindavan.
So, in the purports, Prabhupada has explained about the criticism by the demon, but actually are glorifications. So, Agyan is trying to criticize that you are fool, but actually it's an indirect glorification, that there is no knowledge which is unknown to you. Then the next word was na swasti yasi. The criticism is you cannot go without being heard by me. The indirect glorification is that unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for earth and residents of earth. The other word is mamekshata. The criticism is, in my presence, you are trying to take the earth away. And the indirect glorification is that in spite of my presence, you are actually able to take earth away. That this actually is good for earthly beings. And then it was Suradhama. The criticism is that you are lowest among demigods. But the actual glorification is that you are Lord of all demigods. Hence, he is the best of all demigods, or he is God. So verse number 3, the indirect glorification is that you have been given earth by Brahmaji. So do not give up earth. You will obtain our kingdoms also along with earth by being merciful to me. O supreme among demigods, who have appeared as a bow for your devotees. Similarly, verse number 4, there are two words. One first is abhaya. The criticism is for killing. And the indirect glorification is killing the process of continued birth and death, means you are giving liberation. And then the word is sucha, means grief. But indirect glorification is that material miseries are extinguished by Lord's Yogmaya. So if you translate the glorification way, verse number 4, the indirect glorification is that have the demigods taken shelter of you, who kill asuras out of your mercy in order to award me liberation? And by killing demons, you give them spiritual destination. You remain victorious, although you are invisible. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations?
It's a beautiful verse 3 and 4.
Mhm.
The whole process right from chapter 17 is exciting to read and meaningful.
Very good. Very good attachment to hearing Krishna Katha and relishing Krishna Katha. Okay, Uncle will read verses 5 and 6 translations and purports.
Chapter 5, Hare Krishna. Chapter 5, translation. The demon continued, when you fall, death, with your with your skull smashed by the mace, hurried by means of by my arms. The demigods and sages who offer you oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist, like trees without roots. Purport. Demons are very much disturbed when devotees worship the Lord in the prescribed ways recommended in the scriptures. In the Vedic scriptures, the neophyte devotees are advised to engage in 9 kinds of devotional service, such as to hear and chant the holy name of God, to remember Him always, to chant on beats Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, to worship the Lord in the form of His deity incarnation in the temple, and to engage in various activities of Krishna consciousness to increase the number of godly persons for perfect peace in the world. Demons do not like such activities. They are always enemies of God and His devotees. Their propaganda is not to worship in the temple or church, but simply to make material advancement for satisfaction of the senses is always current. The dream Hiranyaksha, the demon Hiranyaksha, upon seeing the Lord face to face, wanted to make a permanent solution by killing the personality of Godhead with his potential mace. The example of an uprooted tree mentioned here by the demon is very significant. Devotees accept that God is the root of everything. Their example is just as the stomach is the source of energy for all the limbs of the body. God is the original source of all energy manifested in the material and spiritual world. Therefore, as supplying food to the stomach is the process to satisfy all the limbs in the body, Krishna consciousness or developing love of Krishna is the sublime method of satisfying the source of all happiness. The demon wants to uproot the source because if the root, God, were to be checked, the activities of the Lord and the devotees would automatically stop. The demon would be very much satisfied by such a situation in society. Demons are always anxious to have a godless society for their sense gratification. According to Sridhar Swami, this verse means that when the demon would be deprived of his mace by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only the neophyte devotees, but also the ancient, sagacious devotees of the Lord would be very much satisfied. Text 6, translation. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain, but seeing the earth on the ends of his tusk was frightened. He rose out of water, just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when they are assailed by an alligator. Purport. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that the Lord has feelings. The Lord is satisfied if someone offers him a nice prayer. And similarly, God is dissatisfied if someone describes his existence or calls him by his names, by ill names. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is decried by the Mayavadi philosophers who are almost demons. They say that God has no head, no form, no existence, and no leg, hands, or other bodily limbs. In other words, they say that he is dead or lame. All these misconceptions of the Supreme Lord are a source of dissatisfaction to him. He is never pleased with such atheistic descriptions in this case. Although the Lord felt sorrow from the piercing words of the demon, he delivered the earth from the satisfaction of the demigods who are ever his devotees. The conclusion is that God is as sentiment as we are. He is satisfied by our prayers and dissatisfied by our harsh words against him. In order to give protection to his devotees, he is always ready to tolerate insulting words from the atheists. Hare Krishna.
So, Lord also has feelings. When you offer prayers, he is satisfied. And if somebody calls the Lord with ill names, he is unsatisfied. The last two verses for today. So this will answer Shivangi's question, how could earth float? Comes directly in verse number 8. So Shivangi will read verse 7 and 8 translations and purports.
The demon who had golden
Louder.
the demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." Purport. When the Lord was coming out of the water, taking the earth in his arms to deliver it, the demon derided him with insulting words, but the Lord did not care because he was very conscious of his duty. For a dutiful man, there is nothing to fear. Similarly, those who are powerful have no fear of derision or unkind words from an enemy. The Lord had nothing to fear from anyone, yet he was merciful to his enemy by neglecting him. Although apparently he fled from the challenge, it was just to protect the earth from the calamity that he tolerated Hiranyaksha's deriding words. The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of the ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahmaji, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and the other demigods rained flowers on him. Purport. Those who are demons cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead floated the earth on water, but to the devotees of the Lord, this is not a very wonderful act. Not only the earth, but many, many millions of planets are floating in the air, and this floating power is endowed upon them by the Lord. There is no other possible explanation. The materialist can explain that the planets are floating by the law of gravitation, but the law of gravitation works under the control or direction of the Supreme Lord. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita which confirms by the Lord's statement that behind the material laws or nature's laws and behind the growth, maintenance, production, and evolution of all the planetary systems, behind everything is the Lord's direction. The Lord's activities could be appreciated only by the demigods headed by Brahmaji, and therefore when they saw the uncommon prowess of the Lord in keeping the earth on the surface of the water, they showered flowers on him in appreciation of his transcendental activity.
Does that answer your question, Shivangi?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page? Are pretty straightforward points for all the verses. So we won't cover any more verses today. It starts from the next verse is a new part. So we'll cover in the following class. Now, there are no questions for me to give you because these are pretty straightforward chapters. If you want, I can send you Prabhupada lecture to listen to. Whatever you wish, I can serve you accordingly.
Please do, Prabhuji.
Please.
Prabhuji, you have Prabhupada's lecture on this topic also?
We don't
17
have,
and
not,
18?
not on this topic. Prabhupada does not have
Okay.
lecture on this topic.
Okay, okay.
But I will give you a relevant lecture about come under Krishna's protection. So that's what.
Sure. You welcome.
Okay, so I will send you Prabhupada lecture, which is relevant. We talked about the devotees are always under the protection of the Lord, and I will send you that lecture. So as I discussed at the start, that next Sunday, 26th of May, we will finish chapters 18 and 19, are again pretty straightforward chapters. And then on 2nd of June, you all can do your respective presentations for this unit number 11. Shalini will send you the Google document link to populate your names for the presentation that you want to do. If you have not already read the rest of chapter 18 and 19, please read before the class and we will continue from that point on. We still have about 8 minutes or so left. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations?
By Lord's energy, he made earth to float.
Yep.
Anything else in that relevant to the Lord's energy you would like to share since we have time?
So there are a lot of energies. Here, Lord is demonstrating one of them. The primary energies for us to know are that there is an internal energy, which is spiritual. Then we ourselves are also energies. We are marginal energies. And then there is material world, which is external energy. There are many energies, just such as gravity. Gravity is also an energy of the Lord working under the Lord. Time is also an energy of the Lord. Time is another form also of the Lord. So there are many. I mean, we can only talk so much about the energies. Does that help you for the time being?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Shivangi?
Prabhuji, just a question. From the Lord and Mother Earth, they have a child, right? From this pastime. Is that spoken about somewhere here? Or is that, am I remembering it wrong?
So that comes later part in Canto 10, where actually Lord goes on to kill his child because of the association with demoniac people, even though the child is born from Krishna and Mother Earth, he actually goes on to become a demon. So that's the lesson in that particular chapter, that association plays a very important role, that even when the child is born from Krishna and Mother Earth, he still goes on to become a demon and gets killed. So it's not in here, but it comes later on.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.